Hey everyone, and welcome. Let's talk about something pretty much all of us have gone through, the performance review, right? For managers, for employees, it can be a huge source of anxiety, confusion, and sometimes you just walk away feeling like things weren't quite fair. Well, today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea that's designed to fix exactly that. It's called performance normalization. So let's just get right to it with a big question. Are the performance reviews at your company right now truly fair? And it's a tough one, because fairness is so tricky. Even when everyone has the best intentions, things like unconscious bias and just different personal standards can sneak in, and you end up with a system that doesn't really reflect who's doing what. And this chart right here shows the problem perfectly. We call it the same rating problem. So look, we've got three managers, right? A, B, and C. They've all rated a team member as meets expectations. But if you look at the height of the bars, the actual performance level, they're all different. Maybe manager A is a super tough grader while manager C is a bit more generous. This means an employee on team A could be a top performer, but get the exact same label as someone on team C who's doing just okay. And that right there is where the feeling of unfairness really starts to creep in. So, what do we do about that? How do we make sure that meets expectations actually means the same thing no matter which team you're on? Well, this is where we bring in the concept of normalization. Think of it as the key to unlocking truly fair and equitable evaluations. So what is performance normalization? At its core, it's basically a calibration process. It's a way to balance out all those variations we just talked about. The different standards between managers, the fact that every team has its own dynamics, and even that some people have heavier workloads than others. The whole goal is to create a level playing field so that every single evaluation is as fair and consistent as possible. And this slide just illustrates that shift so well. Before you have normalization, you're living in a world of subjective standards, data that you can't really compare side by side, and often that feeling of perceived favoritism. But after you implement normalization, the whole game changes. You shift to objective benchmarks, results you can actually compare, and maybe most importantly, fair and equitable decisions when it comes to things like raises and promotions. This isn't just some HR exercise. It has a real impact on people's careers. Okay, this all sounds pretty good in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you go from a bunch of raw performance data to decisions that everyone feels are fair? Let's break it down. Here we go, a practical 4-step approach. Step 1, you have to account for the managers themselves. You look at their rating history. Is this a manager who rates everyone high, or are they a tougher grader? That context is key. Second, you consider the team dynamics. Was one team putting out fires all year and hitting crazy stretch goals, while another team had a more stable, predictable workload? Third, you adjust for individual workloads. And finally, only after you've added all those layers of context can you actually compare the results objectively across the entire company. It's about turning that raw data into real, fair insight. Now, this next part is absolutely crucial. Getting the numbers right is only half the battle, because if you don't communicate the results in the right way, you can destroy all the trust you were trying to build. The conversation itself is just as important as the calculation behind it. And this quote just gets to the very heart of it. The whole point is to present these outcomes in a way that is constructive, motivating, and just plain easy for people to understand. You want the employee to walk out of that meeting feeling seen, feeling valued, and knowing exactly how they can grow, not feeling defeated by some number they don't even understand. And to do that, your communication really needs to be 4 things. First, constructive. It has to be about future growth. Second, motivating. Connect the feedback to their career goals. Third, clear and understandable. Please drop the corporate jargon. And most of all, be transparent. Explain how the process works. When people understand the why, they're so much more likely to trust the outcome. So when you get the process right and you get the communication right, something really amazing starts to happen. You're not just fixing performance reviews anymore. You're actually building a better, healthier company culture. And that is the ultimate payoff. For one, as a leader, your own credibility gets a huge boost. When your team sees that you are genuinely committed to a fair and objective process, they respect your decisions that much more. Your leadership just becomes more effective because it's built on a foundation of integrity. Second, and this one is massive, you build stronger trust. Trust is really the currency of any great team, right? When employees believe the system is designed to be fair, they trust their managers, they trust the organization, and that leads to way more engagement and better collaboration all around. And finally, you foster a true culture of accountability. In a system that people believe is fair, they're motivated to really own their performance and focus on how they can improve. The whole conversation shifts from, did I get a good rating, to how can I grow and contribute more? And that is a total game changer. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. What's the first step you can take to make the reviews at your organization more equitable? It doesn't matter if you're a manager or an employee. Just starting the conversation about fairness, that's the first move toward building a better, more trusted workplace for everyone.